Hello friends, welcome back to Mothership. Today we're doing a bit of a celebration meal here, and there's only one thing I want to do in a celebration, and that is surf and turf. So we have steak and we have lobster tails. Stick around, I'm going to show you how we're going to cook these delicious smoked meats on the pellet smoker. Well, before we get these things onto the smoker, we need to season up the meat. This is a ribeye that I bought for the occasion, and this is actually a Wagyu ribeye that I cut out of a primal for Christmas last year. I actually dry aged them using those Umai vacuum seal bags, and my results are actually pretty incredible. I did not expect to be this good. Maybe someday I'll do a video on them in the future, but if you're interested in trying that out, I definitely recommend it. My results were pretty great. About 6 hours before I plan to put them onto the smoker, I salted both sides of the meat, then put them back in the fridge, let the salt go into the meat. Now I'm just going to do a simple black pepper and garlic powder on all sides of these things, and then put them back in the fridge again and let them just sit before they go into the smoker. We're just going to get these covered up. Going to do all the sides, obviously. And then we're going to move on to taking care of our lobster, which, if you've never done lobster tails before, it's going to be maybe something new for you guys. If we're talking lobster tails, there are a couple different options you can get. If you are not in the Northeast like I am, you might be looking at Caribbean spiny lobsters. You might be looking at North Pacific. You might be looking at Russian. But since I am from the Northeast, there's only one lobster for me, and that is the Atlantic lobster. The first thing you're going to want to do on any lobster tail is make a cut with some good shears down the back like so. And then what we're going to try and do is we're going to separate the lobster tail meat from the side of the shell, and we're going to pop it on top. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing right here. Basically, you want to go in, you want to get your finger along the sides, kind of separating it from the shell without breaking the shell. And yes, there's still a couple ice chips on here because it's just came out of freezing. And then all we're going to do is get our fingers up underneath the soft part underneath the lobster and just kind of pull it up on top of the shell. So your finished result should look something like so. If we want, we could just smoke up the lobsters just as is and have some delicious lobster. I have no problem with lobster looking just like that with nothing else added. But we're going to put some seasoning on here, and then we're going to put butter on it. The seasoning, I'll have everything down below. It's pretty simple. Just salt, pepper, garlic, paprika. I'm just going to give it a light little bit of coating on here. This is just an all-purpose seasoning. Cover it a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just enough to bring out a little bit extra flavor. Now for our butter, I have a full stick of butter, and I doubt we're going to need all of it, but I'd rather have more than less. I put a little bit of paprika on here, 2 cloves of garlic, and a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to put this on with my baked potatoes for about 2 hours to get some smoke flavor into the butter. And then once the lobster tails goes on, we're going to baste the tails about every 10 minutes or so until they are finished. Okay, and our smoker is now up to temp at 225 degrees. We have our baked potatoes on the bottom shelf, and we have lobster tails on top along with our steaks. At this point, I'm going to start basting the lobster tails with our butter. And we're really looking for an internal temperature on the steak of about 110 degrees, and the lobsters to hit a temperature of about 140, and then we're going to pull them and munch on these suckers. Our lobster tails are at 135 degrees, which is getting close to our pull point of 140. They're looking pretty good. I'm going to keep basting them until the very end. And then our steak's at 110, so I have them on the propane grill at the highest possible temperature, just trying to sear them off real quick. The goal here is about a 120 to 125. That's how I like my steaks. But at 110 is where I pull them off. If you want them a little bit more done, your mileage may vary. Our steak and our lobster took about an hour to 45 minutes, somewhere between there to get done. And I have to say, this dry-aged Wagyu looks just fantastic. Look at the color on that bad boy. And the lobster, I mean, the lobster's fantastic. You can't beat it. I have to say, with all that butter on my smoker, I may or may not have gotten some on the steak and probably on my baked potatoes and everything else that was on the smoker as well. So everything just has a lot of butter on it, so you know it's going to be good. And I can't wait anymore. I have to chomp. This is for a celebratory meal with my significant other, so she doesn't want me sitting around here eating, but I'm going to do it anyway. So let's get the old chomp. Ready? Oh my Lanta. Guys, There have been a lot of meals on this channel that are pretty good. This is the best one. So much butter, so much lobster, so much steak. This is the best. I love this. I love you guys. I love everything. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around next time. I'll cook something a little less decadent, but just as good. Take it easy, guys.